Welcome to the Metal Matters podcast on Roadco Radio. We're joined with President Steve Scott of TriState Steel. Steve, how you doing today?
I'm good, my friend. How are you? How's Joe Dexter?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here and glad to talk metal and what goes into it. I want to start with just that. Metal Matters. I just love the hashtag. I want to start there. What does it mean to you, and what does metal mean to you as a byproduct? I guess is a way to put it.
Yeah, so the hashtag Metal Matters came about because we didn't feel the average consumer understood how metal impacts their life. I'm sitting here looking at you with that fantastic TriState Steel ball cap on, the Dexter special, and you're sitting at a desk in a chair made of metal. Your microphone is being held in front of your face by metal. There's nothing you can do ever, any day, that metal doesn't impact your life or support your life. Metal is the foundation of the American economy, and it has been since the 1800s. It makes the American economy grow. It is everything behind everything you do. These kids that are like, oh, I want to work for Google, or I want to do virtual, or I'm going to be in AI, and I'm like, that's great, no problem, go get it. But you understand that building you're sitting in, yeah, it's held up by metal, and so our goal is to make people more aware of how metal impacts their life, and how through the successful selling of metal, TriState Steel is able to impact our community.
I think it's a good metaphor too, just for overall life when you look at it that way. I mean, there's so many things surrounding us that impact us that we don't necessarily realize it, especially going day by day with our tasks that we have and all the things that are in front of us. It's a good motto if you break it down that way for how life goes every day.
I couldn't agree more, Joe. You and I share a love for the local Woodbat baseball team, right? The Luckies, and none of the things at the Luckies game would happen if it weren't for metal. The fence, the bleachers, the cleats they wear, for goodness sakes, have metal in them. So I do think it is a really good connection to the things that we don't have an appreciation for. I think I'm a blue collar guy, Joe, you know that, right? And you come from a blue collar world where you grew up. And I think it speaks also to the blue collar worker. Reidsville's a blue collar town. Rockingham County's a blue collar community. And sometimes I think that group of people is forgotten about and maybe pushed aside a little bit, especially in today's world. And so I think we kind of represent those people, and I'm really proud of that. I grew up in a tough town, right? Youngstown, Ohio is a tough place, and tough people. And I feel that way about Rockingham County. Rockingham County is filled with tough people and proud people, and so I think Metal Matters kind of it kind of describes who we are and what we are, and the forgotten folks behind the scenes who kind of make things go, and I'm proud of that.
We're joined with Steve Scott here on the Metal Matters podcast on Roadco Radio. Steve, first and foremost, I want to say congratulations on your being named number 13 on the Fast 50 award list for the Triad Business Journal. What does that mean to you personally? And then I know it means a lot more to you about what the staff has done in place for TriState Steel Metal Products.
Yes. So I would be wrong if we started this conversation in any way other than a shout out to Lee Cockrum at Rockingham County Economic Development, Carrie, their team, because they reached out to us and said, hey, we think that y'all should be in this, and you should probably engage with the Triad Business Journal about this award, because we think that you should be nominated. And it never crossed my mind to do that. So appreciative of them for making us aware that we should be involved. So I wouldn't want to miss this opportunity to thank Lee and her team for that. But you're 100% correct. What you ended your question with is what I want to begin my answer with, and that's, I can't tell you, I can't find the appropriate words to tell you how proud I am of the employees of TriState Steel for what they've done since January 1st of 2020, because the award is a 3-year cumulative award, and so it's a 3-year running thing. And so you have to go back to January 1st of 2020 to pull the data that created the opportunity to win this. And that includes a lot, that includes the whole COVID thing, right? And the fact that we were one of the fastest growing privately held companies in our region through COVID, through the downturn in the economy, how hard our people worked, how dedicated they were. It's very humbling, Joe. It's humbling for me as the business owner to know that there are so many people who work so hard to make TriState Steel what it is. Yeah, I'm the face of it, right? Like, I am. I understand my role. I'm the face of it, but I don't make it all happen. Our warehouse workers, our truck drivers, our accounting team, our sales team, they do a lot of work, and they are hardworking, dedicated people, and they're very passionate about the company they work for, and it really makes me proud.
There's one part of the hard work part that you've mentioned, but another thing too that sticks out is, to be growing, you have to accept challenges. That means your team has been willing to accept challenges, not just a COVID challenge, but the challenges of growth and expansion, the new retail store, things that are thrown in front of them, they're willing to tackle them.
I do think sometimes that they think I'm crazy. I don't think there's any question about that. You have spent enough time with me, Joe, sometimes that I think you think I'm crazy. So, the reality is I might be a little bit crazy. But I really I like to win. I like the idea of sports. I think sports are a metaphor for everything in life. I think that it's okay to want to win. I think winning is healthy. I think celebrating your victories. You and I have had this conversation before about celebrating victories and being willing to celebrate your victories. And I'm super intentional about celebrating the victories of the teammates at TriState Steel and all the things they do, because they deserve to be celebrated, and they've gone after it. They haven't shied away from it. They haven't said, "Oh, that's a bad idea. We shouldn't do that." They're like, "Okay, how are we going to accomplish that?" And it's taken a lot of risk. It's taken a lot of people saying, "Well, if we're going to accomplish this, I'm going to have to grow as a human, because my role is changing, and I'm going to have to learn new things. I'm going to have to learn to communicate differently. I'm going to be responsible for different things." And not everybody is wanting to grow personally. And to accept that for the company you work for to be successful, you have to grow as an individual, that can be challenging. And so I'm really proud of them for being willing to take on that challenge.
One of those challenges started opening in the public in March, the TriState Steel Retail store. Break that down for us. How things going down there at the new facility?
Yes. So the TriState Steel Retail store is at the intersection of Richardson Drive and Reed School Road, right at the traffic light. As you come into Reedsville from the west, we're right there at the traffic light. You can't miss us. Gray building. Um, it has gone very well. We're super pleased with it. Matter of fact, I'm standing in it right now. Um, we couldn't ask for better feedback. The amount of feedback that we get is it's just really really exciting. We hear things like, "Oh, I wish this had been done years ago. Oh, this has changed the way I do things." This morning is a great example. We had a company from Arizona who's working in Bassett, Virginia, who Googled steel near me in Bassett, Virginia. TriState Steel Retail Store was the first thing that came up. They called us at 7 a.m. They needed to install machines today. And we answered the phone and they said, "Hey, we need a bunch of steel plates, 1/2 inch by 6 inches by 12 inches long. We need a bunch of them." They gave us the number. "When can we have them?" And we were like, "Well, where are you?" They said, "Bassett, Virginia." We said, "Come on down now. Give us a credit card number." They gave us a credit card number. By the time they got here, we had all of their parts cut. They put them in a truck. They drove it back, and they got back there before the piece of equipment came, and they were ready to set the piece of equipment, and they couldn't be happier, right? So here's Tri-State Steel selling metal to a company from Arizona working in Virginia. How great is that, right? Well, if we didn't have the retail store, we wouldn't have been able to do that. Our other company across town, our wholesale division has, I don't know, 12 or 13 cut orders backed up. We already had 11 trucks scheduled to run for the day. We simply would have had to tell them we can't help them. And instead it was, "Hey, we're selling to some company from Arizona today." So that's pretty cool, right?
That's an awesome impact in what that retail store brings. That instant impact is right there across the line in Virginia, but also like I imagine you see a lot of guys coming in, gals that have the work that they have to do at home, or they got that little project they're working on. I imagine you see that too, and that must be beneficial to you guys to see having that impact.
We do. We've met people from as far away as 2 hours who are doing blacksmithing on their own, or a fella who's building barbecue cookers comes in here all the time. We didn't even have him as a customer, and he builds barbecue cookers out the back door, and he just needs a chunk of this, a chunk of that, a piece of this, a piece of that. We're getting ready to kick off a campaign here shortly. That is just talks about, "Hey, it's fall and all the things you tore up this summer, it's time to fix it," right? It's fall fix up time. And that's what we want you to do. If you're somebody who does things in the backyard, and your utility trailers needs a little piece replaced, or your barbecue grill needs a new grill, or if your steps are needing fixed, or whatever it is that you might use metal for, it's time to fix it, so that next spring when you go to use it, you don't have to fix it. It's already done. This is the perfect time of year to do a fall fix up. So we love the local individuals that want to buy metal from us, because what we get from them is really fun, because what we get from them is all the pictures. I needed to fix my Jeep, or I like to rock hopper on the weekends, and I need this piece of DOM tube to fix my roll cage, or whatever. And the beauty of the retail store is all you need to do is buy what you need. You don't have to buy 10 feet. You don't have to buy 20 feet. You don't have to buy a full length. If you need 6 inches of something, come buy 6 inches of it. That's what we're here for. And then the other part of it is that we've been surprised at is how many businesses are buying at the retail store. We had a guy from Trinity, North Carolina, came in today and picked up some metal. Drove all the way from Trinity to buy some stuff, because all he wanted was some 4-inch square tubing quarter wall, but he didn't need a full length of it. He just wanted 3 pieces, 40 inches, and a piece of expanded metal. I don't know what he was doing. I didn't even ask him. But, we didn't anticipate people driving from Trinity, North Carolina, or Asheboro, North Carolina, or Blairs, Virginia, to come to the Tri-State Steel Retail Store. And we are seeing that happening a lot. Shockingly, the majority of our business is from outside of Reidsville.
Wow, that is surprising.
Yeah.
When you look at it too, you mentioned a little bit, but not only just the metal that you need, maybe just a little piece here, but you guys will help them figure out what they need, what type of metal product that they need for that if they need a little bit of help.
Yeah, the fun thing, Joe, is that because of the way the store is set up, they have unlimited access to, it's like going down to Greensboro to the Science Center and getting to see all the animals, or the zoo and see all the animals. Only here you get to touch and feel all the metal. You get to come in here and, hey, does this slide into that? How heavy is this? If I pulled this out 10 feet, how rigid would it be? What's the difference between a 20 gauge and a 22 gauge? Well, we have all that stuff sitting right here. So we have a whole rack of steel sheets that are just cut into 2 foot by 2 foot chunks so that you can come and pick one up and feel what it feels like and twist it and bend it. And is this going to work for me? And people love that rack because they just want a chunk of it. They don't want a big piece of it. They just want this 2 foot by 2 foot piece. And they grab it off the rack and they walk out the door and they're gone. And they're like, this is great. And so we have it from 27 thousandths of an inch thick, which is like your human hair, all the way up to 1/2 inch thick, steel plate in 2 foot by 2 foot chunks. The other thing that's interesting that I really enjoy, it makes me laugh, is we get this question all the time. What are your hours? We say 7 to 7, Monday through Friday, 7 to 1 on Saturday. Y'all are open at 7 a.m.? Yep. Y'all are open at 7 o'clock at night? Yep, we sure are. What's the point of selling metal to people when they're at work? It doesn't help them. If you work in Winston-Salem, but you're from Reidsville, and you have to be at work at 8 o'clock, and you don't get home until after 5, but you want to buy metal, we have to be open. And you would be amazed at the number of people who come in here between 5:30 and 7 o'clock to get metal because we're available to them. And that's what we sell, Joe. Yes, we sell metal, but it's really not the metal that we sell. We sell customer service. That's what we're here for. We're here to make you happy and to allow you to complete your project. That's our whole purpose.
All right, Steve, before we let you go, I got to ask you about Halloween, trick-or-treating. What's going on at TriState Steel?
Yeah, so Sunday the 29th, we are going to have a trunk or treat. We are inviting the whole community to come out. We will have some rock hopping Jeeps here up on a hill. We'll have our employees dressed up. We'll have candy for the kids. We have some other local businesses who are going to be joining us. And our hope is just to give everybody in the community a really safe place to have a good time and let their kids have a good time. Again, Joe, I mentioned this earlier. The successful selling of metal is really the conduit for us being able to engage in the community. And this is just another opportunity for us to tell the community, thank you. Hey, we appreciate you. And come let your kids have a good time in a safe place.
He's TriState Steel Metal Products President Steve Scott. This is the Metal Matters podcast on Roco Radio. Steve, thanks for your time, and we look forward to talking to you again down the road.
All right, my friend. It's always good to see you. I appreciate you, Joe Dexter.
All righty. I appreciate you too. Take care.
Right, buddy.